Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and this is Miss Zhang with Chica with Miss Zhang. This is my episode 2 for this vlog. My title is Call to Action, Empathize, Not Criticize. How to understand Generation Z better. I have two parts. The first part I will read something that I wrote last year, and then the second part will be afterwards. So I'll just read real quick what I have written 2020, which was last year. Ignorance is a bliss. This term is applicable to those who came before us. During their time, around say 1900s, people did not know a lot about depression, anxiety, stress disorder. And look at them. Some of them even lived for 100 years. This is the generation who witnessed countless of wars and have lived to tell the tale. I say again, wars. All that chaos and deaths and violence and boiling rage and hate. Did they suffer from depression, anxiety, and stress? Well, maybe not. I do not have the statistics to tell you that. But still, despite that, they seem well in a sense that they have cultivated their own families, and many of them who are still living now can smile ear to ear and can tell us about how hard life was. But if I gave up, I wouldn't be here where I am now, and I'm glad I didn't and remain strong in the face of hardships. Would be something that older people would tell us. And look at us now. Millennials, Generation Z, Generation X, millennials, yeah. Look at us now. This very generation who grew up with the internet. The countless researches about how the percentage of depression is increasing worldwide at each passing year. The generation that, at a press of a button on the screen, all the information can be accessed in a matter of nanoseconds, fast. We like it fast. And with this overwhelming sense of knowledge, we tend to treat everything as true and genuine, and then we believe. So we self-diagnose. We are suffering from this and that. Maybe this is what I'm feeling. Maybe, yes. Then, as if by magic, we believe it is true, it is real, and we live as if it is. We are so obsessed, we are stressed, we're terribly sad with all these information, but we do not even try to screen them. Maybe you have to step back, and maybe we have to stop to overthink. Life should be made simple, but we humans tend to make it complicated. We have become a generation who is easily offended and who takes offense pretty seriously. We get one dislike and then we start making fuss about it and make a big deal and take things too personally. We have become a generation who's pretty good at making memes, making hugot remarks, sana all, good at making vlogs, editing photos, a lot of videos, updating all our socials, with everything, with all the buzz, with all the things that keep us busy, mindlessly going through our timeline, through our feed, just so we feel busy. But wait, are these essential skills in getting through life? We have become a generation who worships false positivity. We are so consumed in feeling positive all the time that whenever we feel a bit negative, we then beat ourselves up for feeling crappy, as if not feeling positive is not a valid feeling, as if we're robots, as if we can control those things, as if we can't feel anything but happy. We have become a generation who is petty. We make a big deal out of itsy bitsy tiny issues, and we like to be in everyone's business because of FOMO, fear of missing out. We feel the need that we have to know everything about our friends and our family circle, and even those artistas we idolize, and we need to know everything. No wonder how we don't achieve peace within us, because we made a business out of everyone else's business. There's just so little room for so much drama in our lives. We have become a generation who feels like we are entitled to every single thing amazing and beautiful and perfect. We grew up being told by grown-ups that, hey, little one, you can have everything in life. Now that we have grown up and we actually cannot have everything we want in life, we then beat ourselves up, or we blame people, we blame so and so, and we so easily lose hope because we were promised we'd have everything we want, but then in reality we cannot. And also, when we don't achieve perfection, we easily get discouraged and deeply sad and troubled. We have become a generation who is obsessed with all the hashtag goals that there are: fitness goals, relationship goals, health goals, etc. We then beat ourselves up when we do not feel like we don't have any goals achieved within a week or a month or a year. We have become a generation so obsessed with looking good. We focus our attention on surface level happiness. When people seem to like us on social media, we are obsessed with looking good. That whenever we look at the mirror, we think we're not good looking enough because we are far from Liza or Lisa or whoever we idolize. Comparison has been the thief of joy all along. With so much photos and stories on social media, we consume these and then compare our boring, pathetic life with all those glossy, glamorous, edited, curated highlight reels of our friends and people we look up to. It is so easy to get jealous and hate our lives for being far from the amazing lives of these people. It's very, very easy to feel like we do not measure up. But hey, we don't really know the story behind every glamorous, edited, amazing photos, do we? We have become a generation who is very impatient. We dislike waiting. We loathe hating. We want everything in an instant. Instant coffee, instant noodles, instant boyfriend or girlfriend, a swipe or at a wave. We do not realize that anything we achieve in a rush can also be taken so easily taken in a snap as well. We do not realize that for something to last for a long time, we need to cultivate it and let it grow and blossom and bloom. That we need to get our hands dirty and suffer a little to do the works we need to for any relationship to grow and have a strong foundation that will last for a long time. We wonder how come our relationships and friendships easily fall apart these days. We forget that we did not even had a strong, solid foundation for such to remain strong throughout the years. We have become a generation who do not like to be told. We refuse to listen to the counsel of others. We feel like we know everything. Remember, we have Google and internet, right? We have become a generation who measures our co-human beings with the number of their followers on Twitter or their likes and hearts on Facebook. We tend to equate a person's value by his or her numbers. We quantify value as if it can be measured, when in fact a person's value can never ever be measured with any human-made standards whatsoever. No, we like to label things. We create words to label things because for our generation, not having a label to a certain thing or person or feeling makes us feel lost. That's why we create terms like ghosting and orbiting and stalking, as if these petty terminologies define our very existence or relationship. We rush to fall in love. We do not realize we have been fooled by the countless movies or K-dramas we have been binge watched or we have watched. Life is not an all ever happy ever after. Love is not an all ever happy ever after. That is why earth is earth and heaven is heaven. Do not expect heaven and earth, because the truth is earth is full of suffering. Life is full of suffering, and the sooner we embrace and accept and wrap ourselves around the fact then the more we can be at peace with our own suffering. Suffering teaches us countless of life lessons that we will not otherwise learn should we not suffer. But our generation seems like we do not want to suffer. We even complain at the smallest itsy tiny problem we have, like maybe slow internet connection or the usual traffic roads in our main roads. We have confused productivity with divided attention. We believe that in order to be productive, we have to attend to lots of things all at the same time. We like to keep ourselves busy such that we have confused silence, stillness, and pause for being unproductive. We feel guilty when we take a break, and so then we go on with this vicious, busy cycle. No wonder we easily get tired and burnt out at this rat race. And actually, there is so much more, because much can be said about our generation, but I'm gonna stop there. Yes, we may have lots of things to work on, but we also have lots of things we can be proud of. So long as we know what those things are, I think we can be alright. We will be alright. You will be alright. We can always choose to be better. You can be better. Life is one hell of a ride, I guess, and it is important to enjoy the ride and not to hurry to reach the destination. We will all get there, one step at a time. Remember that we are all works in progress, so let's not beat ourselves up. Life is life is life. Yes, love you. And now, to be honest, when I started teaching senior high school students in 2019, I struggled to understand where are my students coming from. It was easy for me to criticize because I did not make an effort to try to empathize them. I was critical. I was thinking in my head, how come some of them seem to be so entitled? How come some of them are so bossy? And how come some of them seem to be so impatient? Because in my head, I was comparing my students to how we were in high school. And I realized that where all the judgment is coming from, if that is the lens of how we view, people in our lives, then we will always use our critical and judgmental lens, because we compare, like, how come this kind of high school students are no longer like us before? Because see, when we were in high school, we tend to be so, at least majority of us, we tend to be so obedient. Whatever the teacher instructs, then we all do it without any single hint of complaint. But now with all the social media, students can just post everywhere like, okay, I don't like this teacher, I'm angry, whatsoever, and all those things, all those rants. And I realized that when I tend to compare, of course I would be self-critical, because then I would judge my students, and I would tell that, oh, they're no good because they're not like us when we were in high school. And that is my headspace before. And so I came to stumble and watch upon Simon Sinek's message to the millennials, and how he explained that the millennials nowadays, when they go to work, they seem to be impatient. They wanted to see progress immediately, and much of that is anchored on the theory of nature versus nurture. Now, this theory, it was not new to me, because this theory was presented way back in college by a teacher. Like, as an individual or a person, as he or she grows up, there's a basic theory we call nature versus nurture. Nature is the natural abilities, capabilities of that person, say the genetics of that person, like the mom and the dad are intelligent, beings, strive for excellence, something like that, more or less, it's natural for that person to have those abilities because that's part of nature. Now, what's nurture? Nurture is how the environment will eventually shape a certain person. Okay, so from the word nurture, how that person was being brought up. Now, in the case of millennials, or in the case of Z, Generation Z grew up to be so exposed to the internet because they can't help it. When they grew up, the internet is already there. And Simon Sinek, in his talk, said that we have to stop like blaming or pointing out others because generally the generation now has been shaped, and thus they did not choose to become sort of victims of how the internet has raised them as individuals. And I'm just saying this because I have seen many adults now who are not part of Generation Z, maybe those 30-ish and up, and they seem to always be so critical with Generation Z. And I have seen a post where an older person tend to criticize and tell that why are all these younger generation, they tend to be depressed and all of those things, and as if dismissing what they are feeling. And so me personally, I have started to really try to understand and see where are my students coming from and where is Generation Z coming from, because we as humanity, if we want to strive and if we want to uplift each other, then we have to look at the life or the lens of someone's life from his or her point of view, and that's empathy. That's how to empathize. I'll read to you the definition of empathy. Empathy is the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experience of another, of either the past or the present, without having the feelings, thoughts, and experience fully communicated in an objectively explicit manner. In which case, okay, I'll just highlight being understanding, being aware, and being sensitive to. Before I have really understood and had a chance to get to know generation Gen Zers, I have my niece, and I have now students who become close to me, and I tend to look at the lens from where they are coming from and how they see life, so that I can also understand that okay, this is real and this is happening. Because the sad reality nowadays is that and I was having this headspace before, that why am I seeing all these young people having thoughts of depression, and try to box in that. And because last year 2020, right, there were a lot of news going around about how this young person has decided to kill himself, and I know this and I was I tried to ask myself, why is this happening? And we, the Philippines, our country has been known to be one of the happiest people in the planet, sort, and so on and so forth. But the statistics, if you look at it, why is it there's an increasing number of young people experiencing depression, anxiety, suicide ideation. Why is this relevant nowadays? And one of the key things to look at also is that um, the Generation Z being so so used to having the internet with them, because when they were born, okay, they had already phones or tablets and so on, and it's difficult to detach from this because that is their way of living. Okay, so um and they are constantly exposed to different stimuli they can see on the internet, and our brain, this is how our brain processes things. When we see things often, we our brain is a very um amazing machine. Like, if we constantly see things, subconsciously the brain registers that. So, for example, if you constantly look at your timeline and you constantly see people sharing about things that they are sad, they're depressed, and these are actual feelings, valid feelings, and you have this stimuli going on for a long time, let's say a year or a few months, your brain will register that in your subconscious, and that is why, even though you do not uh, you know um, consciously think about that issue, it will be there because subconsciously it's being registered. And you also sometimes you wonder, like, okay, why am I feeling sad or something like that? Um and then there are triggers. Okay, now I know I'm talking a lot. For example, also you see in your feed, like, wow, they're traveling, oh my gosh, my friends are traveling, and oh wow, they are enjoying this and that, and what, again, she's traveling, she's just been to blah 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 last week, and then now, and that's just in your head, right? And you keep on scrolling, and then this is the exposure you get. And although you quiet down and put down your phone for a while, but it's being registered because the more you have this stimuli, and the more that you see all these things, it will be registered to your brain. And that is why um it it is important that we need to limit as well how we interact with our social media and stuff. And that is a different vlog, that how I managed my social media, and how I completed Twitter, and how all these things, because I've learned that way back 2017. I've applied that. Anyway, so the point, I know this video is so dragging, and my point is that we need, like, millennials and baby boomers, and those you know uh, older older generation, no longer part of the Generation Z or Gen Zers. We need to empathize to the Gen Zers around us. Yes, they are in a different headspace, they are in a different they were raised differently, because nature versus nurture, how they were nurtured, and we just cannot help it because there was already internet at that time, and it's not their fault. And please stop, like, oh, why is my teen acting like this? In our time, we were not like this. We have to stop that, because the more we say that, the more that the Generation Z, Gen Zers, and the teens will, like, distance, because of course they will say, because you were not part of our generation, you will never understand us. Now, that is why the first step is to really empathize. You try to see from their point of view, and you do not dismiss that, okay, you just don't know what you're feeling, you're too young. They are humans and they have feelings too, and you don't dismiss them. Instead, you try to listen and extend the listening ear, and empathize. Where are they coming from? And they have stories to tell. Yes. And because the concept, if you're grown up, and then they don't have things to say, they're just teens, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're thinking. But no, a lot of I have met a lot of brilliant, and they have so much potential to offer, and if we dismiss them, they won't really develop to the full selves that they are capable of. So that is why my call to action to people who are watching this, or who might watch this, is we need to empathize to Generation Z and stop criticizing them, because they the more you try to pinpoint this and that, and in my generation we're not like that, but your generation, why? You have to stop also comparing that, comparing generations and all, who's better and who's not, because seriously, that's so tiresome. And so that is my headspace. And for my next video, I will be talking about um, mental health. Wait, disclaimer: I'm not a psychology major. I'm not a graduate of this and that. I'm an education major. But recently I have been reading and trying to understand also how important mental health is, how we should be talking more about it, not just like, okay, just for the sake of it's part of the module, it's part of, no, we have to go beyond that, and the application is important. Anyway, I hope that this video, I know it's too messy because I did not have organized points, but next time I'll try to be better. Yes, I hope that this video will help you, to choose be to try to have empathy. It's not just for Generation Z, but as a whole, we have to understand each other, because if we put our critical lenses, it's really very hard to look at what's the point of view of this person. If we just look at them and then, that person does not have anything to say, or bata pa siya, she doesn't know what they're doing, but seriously, they have stories to tell, and you just need to sit down, listen well, and empathize. Thank you for your time, and I wish you well. God bless you. Bye.